Hi, it's me again. So if you're a regular sub to my channel, you'll know what I'm going to say right now. But if not, if you're new here, my name is Lee. I have been TV license free for over 4 years now. I refuse to pay it. I believe it's a waste of money. You shouldn't pay it. And with that in mind, once a month, I get a letter of great importance. Will I be in on the 3rd of June? Yes, I will be here. But they never turn up when they say they're going to. Anyway, we'll go through this letter together. And FYI, I wouldn't be bothered by this at all. These are just vague threats they send me every month. I've been getting them for months and months and months. And I throw them in the bin. So, let's open it. We'll see how profound this letter is. Will you be in on the 3rd of June? As there's no record or retail license at this address, you should expect a visit from an officer. It may be on the 3rd of June or another day. Well, why say that? Why have a window in the envelope in the first place saying, will you be in on the 3rd of June? But then it says, another day. They can't make up their minds, they really can't. You could be prosecuted if you are caught watching, recording, downloading TV programmes illegally on live TV or iPlayer. Well, I don't. I only watch catch up and streaming services. Yes, those services have live sections like Amazon Prime has football, but I don't watch it. I don't use it. You may have to pay a fine up to £1,000 plus any legal costs and or compensation. Hope you do. We visit over 5,000 addresses a day. Why should I know that? Oh yes, it's a scare tactic. Our officers visit an address every 9 seconds. Day, evening, even weekends. And if no one answers, they can't come back. Oh, I'm so scared. Stop a visit before it's too late. Buy TV licence at tvl.co.uk/pay with payments starting from £6.50 a week. I don't want a licence. I do not want to pay a licence fee. I never have and never will. Or move an existing licence to your address. I've never had a licence ever in my entire life, so nope. Or tell us you don't need one at tvl.co.uk/no TV. Well, 2 years ago I did do this, and when it expired, I thought I won't bother ever again. I won't bother. For any help with the above, please call that number. If you don't do any of the above, you can expect a visit soon. Ooh. Yeah guys, these letters are just vague, empty threats. And if you do get them, if you recently do get them, I wouldn't be bothered at all. This is going to go in the bin. That's all it's worth. Yeah guys, this is just bullshit propaganda that the BBC pushes out to non-PRs like me. And I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. If you do receive any letters from these guys, let me know down below in the comments and what you do after you receive them. I'm guessing most of you just put them in the bin. That's all they're worth. Yeah. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Take care and I will see you in the next one.